Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Kyle. I'm from Fitnessangelo. I'm actually blessed to have the opportunity to be interviewed by Anton over here. If you guys don't know his channel, check him out. Really good guy. Has been supporting me since day one. So let's get started.
Yeah, it's an honor for me to interview you. But how long you been lifting?
So I started lifting probably weightlifting wise about 3 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, I'd say. 2011 was the first day I've ever got a gym membership. I remember it was a Gold's Gym membership here in California, and that's when I got started. Before this, in high school, of course, I was basically playing basketball. I did like some push-ups, pull-up stuff. I was in the military type of school, so it was that. But seriously, weightlifting, I'll say about 3 years. So almost 4 years now, up in September. So
Yeah, that's nice. Uh, and you've competed twice, right?
yes. So I did compete as a teen in 2012. I competed again as a novice and open in 2014, just this past September.
Yeah. And how did you place in the competition?
So in 2012, I placed third in my teen class. And 2014, this past competition, I placed second in the novice, and I placed third in the open, the men's open.
Yeah, and I saw you.
Yeah,
You were in great shape. It was so fantastic to see.
thank you.
And your approach to diet was flexible dieting. I know at least the last time you did it. How was your approach the first time?
So the first time I approached it, it was still in a gray area in terms of learning what flexible dieting was. The mistake that I made on my first prep is that I started so low at macronutrients that it was basically me starving myself during that moment because I didn't know any better. I
Yeah,
didn't know that you wanted to start the highest level of macronutrients and then cut it down slowly. When I was trying to compete in 2012, I was like, "Oh crap, I gotta lose weight. I gotta lose a lot of weight. So let's cut a lot of carbs. Let's cut a lot of this." Even though I was still following macros, I was still learning the process of you want to start high. I was learning what carbs and sugars were. I didn't know they were the same, and all these things were still things that I was learning. And of course, like anyone else, I mean, I made the mistake of just starting so low that it was impossible to get that lean shape and still be sane, you know?
yeah, yeah. I understand. Uh, but the second time it went much better. I saw you. What was your what approximately? What was your body fat percentage?
Approximately, I would say probably I was at this 4 to 6% body fat.
Yeah,
I'd say it's the best
yeah,
ones I've ever gotten ever. So,
yeah. I put a picture on the screen for people to see. So yeah, it was amazing. And uh, over here in Sweden, there are almost no competitors using flexible dieting. Everyone
mm,
is, I'm not saying everyone, but most of the people I know and the person who coached me showed me a very bro-ish approach. I was using flexible dieting until 6 weeks out, and then he offered to coach me. He had coached people before, so I said, okay, let's do this. And he basically said, no dairy products, no, not this and that, And I ate only chicken, white, plain white fish, rice sometimes, and broccoli. That was it, baby, basically. And when I was speaking to people after my competition, was basically everyone was doing the same thing. Everyone
uh.
was doing that, and I will never do that again because that
Yeah.
that it's not sane. So I saw on your Instagram you said that you had a quote: "Diet smarter, not harder." And that just so true. Do you want to explain a bit why you think there's a healthier and easier approach doing
Right,
macro counting instead of
right.
yeah,
So I think the thing is, there's always those people, especially in what we do in this fitness industry. There's people who are stuck still in the back bodybuilder days, right? When information was not very clear, when science was not very clear, when people just think, "Hey, I gotta eat," it's because someone told me to eat this way, and they look good, so he must know what he's doing, no matter what.
8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake.
So I'm just gonna follow that person without questioning anything because his physique shows.
yeah,
So that's carries on, carries on, carries on. And The idea behind flexible dieting and if it fits your macros is that there's a smarter way of doing it. Now people have found out that scientists have found out that your body just needs calories. In general, for general population, calorie counting is all you need. But of course, for us bodybuilders, competitors, powerlifters, that's where macros come in. Macronutrients are the three categories that you need, which is your carbs, fats, and protein. And we have found out that at the end of the day, for you to lose weight, to get to that shape, you just need to be able to know how much food you're taking in and make sure you're in the caloric deficit. The food source doesn't really matter. Um, as long as you're able to hit your micronutrients goals and then make sure you're still be able to stay sane basically during dieting. And the idea behind dieting smarter, not harder, is that contest prepping should not be hell. It could be hard, it could be really difficult, but it shouldn't be you taking yourself out of just regular activities in life because you have to eat your tilapia and rice cake and chicken breast boiled, vegetables only type of idea. There's ways that you can do it with flexible dieting where you're still able to go out with your friends and enjoy your time while you're dieting down.
Yeah, I saw
You
you.
get,
Was I think it was 1 week out, and you have some frozen yogurt or
yeah.
something. Yeah, it
So
was so awesome. Because in my mind, when I approached my diet, my contest prep, I was like, all right, I'll show people that I can do this and still eat those bad foods, that
yeah.
people think. But then when my friend said, I'll coach you for free, and I said, yeah, it's a good friend of mine, so I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And yeah, so. But do you think there's any pros to old school, bro diets compared to flexible diets?
I think the only thing I can think of, because I have a couple of friends who are still doing bro dieting, and they still hire coaches who do bro dieting. Um, the only thing about bro dieting is that if you think about it, if you're only eating tilapia and asparagus and chicken breast, you're creating yourself in a caloric deficit, but at the same time, you're able to hit your micronutrients better that way. The knock between people who does flexible dieting is that they try to fit in so much, I guess, quote unquote, junk food
Yeah, I know.
in their diet that they forget that you need fruits, that you need vegetables, that you need sometimes it's like complex carbs, you know? They
Yeah.
try to, okay, you know what, I'm gonna diet, so I'm gonna eat Pop Tarts every day and then maybe I'll drink a protein shake, you know?
Yeah.
Just to hit my protein. So that's the misconception, and I feel like that's where bro dieting is helpful because you're eating a more nutrition filled food, nutrient dense
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
compared to some people that does flexible dieting.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And I think it's a lot of people are still stuck in that some foods are bad and some are good. Sugars are always bad. Never eat sugars. That's talk in Sweden.
uh,
And yeah, so we covered a lot of my questions already. Were there any foods during your contest prep that you were trying to avoid or anything? Pizza and
uh,
stuff, of course, because it's
I had because back when I was prepping, I made a lot of homemade pizzas. I had to have my
yeah,
pizzas. The thing I stayed away from is definitely chocolate.
yeah,
Because I know that I'm a very sweet tooth guy,
yeah.
so I can't just have one piece of chocolate ever.
Nah,
So I just
I'm
try to
I'm
stay
just
away
like
from
you.
those. And other than that, that's pretty much it. You know,
Yeah, that's good.
try to make sure I stick to this. Just like that's another thing about flexible dieting. Over time, you find yourself eating the same thing
Yeah,
because it's just more simple.
yeah. You can do a bro approach. Eat chicken and
Yeah,
rice every day, but just count those macros.
exactly.
Make a science out of it, so you know
Exactly.
exactly
You can
what to
still do the
remove.
bro dieting with it, and at the end of the day, if you're still craving something else, I'm sure you're gonna have enough calories or macros to fit other food in. You know.
Yeah, and they're
So I
still
agree.
follow. They're still doing macros. You can't eat food without macros.
Exactly. Bro dieting is the same thing as macros. It's just the fact that they don't count the
Yeah,
macronutrients; they just count the
exactly.
weight of the food.
Yeah, the worst thing I know is when people tell me I don't do macros. What what do you eat then?
So, do you not eat food?
Do you drink water all day and eat air?
Yeah, right. I
Uh,
agree.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I forgot to ask you before when we was on the topic of your competition. What was the lowest your macros ever got to?
So I came into, I guess, the second week before the show. My lowest macros was at 35 fat, 210 carbs. and 165 protein.
Yeah, that's still very good. You know,
That
my
was exactly. That was still pretty
yeah.
fine to me. And that was 2014. In 2012, I was so bad at macro counting and dieting. My lowest ones was at 25 fat. I was at 110 carbs and 135 protein,
That's
and I
not
was dying.
yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
So,
did you
and I
do?
didn't even get that lean compared to I did 2014.
No, I
So
know.
that
No.
shows you can eat more food and still be more lean.
Yeah. How much cardio did you do?
Last prep, 2014, I ended up doing 3 days of 500 calories in total, just all this. So
Mm,
low intensity. I didn't do any hit or anything like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Uh, there was something. Yeah, a lot of people that do, the bro dieting, they end up, cutting sodium and reducing water and stuff. No carbs and carb loading. Did you do?
Right.
Did you use any of those methods?
No, no, no. I did not. In 2014, I didn't do any of that.
Mm,
I just kept food the same. I still ate as much salt as I can. Basically, I didn't really count salt or sodium.
no,
I didn't carb load. I didn't do anything crazy. In 2012, I tried the no sodium thing and it didn't work out.
no.
It just food tasted bland and crap.
Yeah, I,
And I
I ate
did.
plain white fish with no salt.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
So
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it was.
this
Oh, yeah, sorry.
this year I didn't do anything like that. I
Mm.
just stick to the same, stayed consistent, and that's it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that, and I will always approach all my competitions from now on that way, because I've seen a lot of people do it, and they can make it work perfectly. They can come in super full and super dry, but a lot of times they just get coached by someone who doesn't know their body as well as they know their own, so they come in looking kind of flat, and
Yeah,
stuff. So that happened to me. I was very flat during my competition. Could not get a pump uh, for for anything. I really tried, but side laterals like 1,000 reps and stuff.
you're like
But
ah.
yeah, I could not get a pump. But yeah, so I think uh, flexible diet will do much better for me. I think I could have come in at least 4 pounds heavier. The same conditioning for me, at least.
That's awesome.
Uh, And what do you think is the most common misconception about if it fits your macros?
I mean, I think I addressed that a little bit. I think the biggest
Yeah,
misconception is that you can just eat all junk food and be okay with it.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, your body still needs micronutrients. It still needs nutrient dense food for you to be able to do that. That's
mm,
what gets me kind of angry when people just take pictures of all their junk food and post it, and then
yeah,
they hashtag if it fits your macros. When at the end of the day, that's not what we're about. We're
yeah,
about just dieting smarter, not
yeah.
trying to show people off that you're eating chocolate or something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like you showed, your ice cream donut or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the next picture was of your salad, with all chicken and stuff. And that's exactly how I think you should approach a diet. If you want something that tastes really good, then eat that and then reduce for the rest of the day.
exactly. You gotta, especially if you're in this fitness community and you have impact on something. You can't just show your junk food because then people think, oh
Oh,
my goodness, he's eating junk food. That means I could eat junk food and eat more junk
mm,
food at home. They don't know the behind the scenes that I eat junk food maybe during the day just because I'm with my friends. But at the end of the night, I have to make up for that by eating salads and chicken or
yeah,
tilapia or something.
yeah,
I have to make room for it. So,
yeah. I think I've covered everything. Just let me check. Uh,
what's the plan for you, man? When are you looking to compete and stuff?
no,
Again.
2016, I think.
Okay.
Summer. There's a beginner show in Sweden, and I did the beginner show this year, past year as well.
Okay.
Uh, so so just slowly build up. Want to come in heavier, bigger, fuller
Yeah.
for my next competition. Uh, Getting stronger, is a big goal of mine at the moment because I've neglected that so much in the past. So I think my gains have suffered from that.
Mm.
So yeah, But you,
Okay. Nice.
yeah, you're dieting for summer or for
Yeah, I'm
Christmas
dieting for
stuff, yeah.
summer and for business right now,
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna compete for probably till 2020, about 4 years, 5 years.
yeah.
So I
And
really just want to
you
take time.
you coach all your clients with macro
Yes,
training.
I do. I coach most of my clients, especially online clients. I do coach macros,
Yeah,
but for what I do, personal training 101, I try to coach macros. But at the end of the day, people are just they so not everyone can follow macros,
yeah,
so they just eat healthier that way, and that's pretty much it.
yeah. I try to do the same, but some people just they don't have the heart to
Yeah, they don't
put
have the
in
heart
for
and
it.
or the mindset, you know.
No, yeah. So
So,
those people, I'll mainly help them count calories. That's
yeah,
simple. Yeah,
I agree. It's the best way to introduce it for general population.
yeah. I think so as well. It was so amazing for me to be able to interview Kyan, and I am honored, man. Sincerely.
It's pleasure, brother. It's
I'll
a pleasure
have
having your support, your encouraging words. It really means a lot to be able to know that there's people in Sweden watching me.
yeah, people in Sweden. Yeah, it was so amazing for me to be able to do this, and I'm so thankful. Thank you very much. Hopefully, we can do something similar sometime again.
Definitely,
Uh,
man. Let me know if you ever come to the States, huh?
yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Yeah, we'll have a deadlift party.
Hey, you know it. Any day,
Yeah.
anytime.
Thank you very much, brother.
You have a good night, brother.
Yeah, you too.